Here we are at the Mount Zion Community House. We're in the upstairs hallway and we're looking at the ceiling below the air shaft for the rooftop unit that cools the hallway. As you can see, there's a problem. There's water just non-stop dripping and leaking from the unit. The last time this happened was about 5 years ago, but since it has happened again, as most problems usually do, I'm taking this video so that you understand what to do. So first things first, as you can see, it's put a considerable amount of water onto the carpet. So the first thing to do is to grab a shop vac, make sure you remove the filter, and suck up all the water out of the carpet. Before that, however, it's obvious that you put a few buckets down to catch the water. After sucking up the water and getting it off the carpet, you want to get a fan blowing on the area. Obviously the problem is still not solved because it's still leaking. So we're going to go up to the rooftop and check it out. Now, I must say before I continue to watch this video that it might be a little choppy as I'm doing this by holding the phone in one hand and only using my other hand to make the repair, or at least the diagnosis. The first thing you're going to want to do is look at the closet here. Upstairs, there's this little doorway. It leads to this ladder. This ladder is the only way that you can get up to the rooftop, and you can see there's the hatch. This hatch has 2 screws. They're flatheads. You can see that kind of right there. Well, it only takes a little half twist, and I've already done the one in front. I'm going to do the one in back. You can take a little screwdriver. I happen to find this 5-in-1, so I'm going to put that in my pocket. And I've also, and this is very important, you want to get some wasp and hornet spray because it is summertime. It's June 10th today, and so the wasps and hornets have had enough time to make nests and so forth in the HVAC unit, so you just want to be careful. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to climb up here and as best I can, apologize for the jiggling around of the camera, but you want to get, I already did this one over here. So I'm going to give this a little half twist and then this hatch should come down. You see, just like that. Now the first thing we want to do is just give it a second. If anything comes flying down, well then you know there's a problem. But usually there's not. I've only been stung once way up there towards the top. Now, you can't see it very well, but maybe I can get up there a little bit closer. And you can see that wood is actually a hat. It's the bottom of the cap. So I'm going to continue to climb up here. And usually the wasps or whatever, they want to make their little nests around the border, which I don't see any. So that's good. And you're not going to really be able to see this well, but what you do is I'm just gonna, with my head and shoulders, kind of apply pressure, and this cap's gonna just come up. All right. I know that was a little awkward to see, but there's the hatch that I just came out of. And then here's the cap. All you gotta do is push up on it. It's pretty heavy, but it'll just push up and then you crawl out of the ladder. Now before I go back down, I'm going to spray the perimeter of this thing with my wasp and hornet spray for next time. Now I'm already looking at the problem and I see it. Now this standing water is not an issue. The issue, by coming around to this other side, my hunch is it's the P-trap that drains water from the unit is plugged up or fouled, and as you can see it should be coming out of here, but for whatever reason it is not. And so I'm gonna unthread this, and look at that. Look at all that water that's getting built up into the unit, literally. That lets me know that there's a considerable clog in this unit's ability to drain the water. And my guess is that this P-trap is full. It's clogged. Because if it wasn't, there's no way that this unit would be holding that much water. And you can see it purged it out. So my next thing to do is going to be to inspect this. Now, unfortunately, there's really no way to inspect this without reaming it out. It doesn't look like, yeah, there has to be a clog in here. There just has to be. There's too much water. And so basically what has happened is, as what happened 5 years ago, the water can't drain out of the unit onto the roof, in which case the sun dries it up. Instead, what happens is it back flows into the unit and it finds a crevice down in the shaft, in the ductwork. So I put my Hornet spray down, and we're going to go down to the maintenance room. Now, next time when you do this, make sure you bring your reamer up on the rooftop with you, which is what I should have done. So here you can see I'm going back downstairs. Here we go. I wish I could edit all this out, but it might be good that you're seeing all this, because you can tell by the length of the video how long it will actually take you to repair. I'm just curious. Look at this. As soon as we drained all that water, look at how slow the water is dripping now. It's just dripping in small drips. It's not like the steady stream that it was. It's just little droplets. But we don't want any of that. So here we are. We're going down to the maintenance room. I feel like this is a Call of Duty, like, point of view game. All right, now we'll check the housekeeping closet first, because it may be in there. Get my finger out of the way. We used to keep it hanging on that hook. I think because it's a maintenance item, we moved it to the maintenance room. So going into the venue, it's going to get a little dark on the video. I'm going to turn on some lights so that you can see where we're headed. Here we go. All right, we're inside the venue. We're going into the corner room, which is our maintenance room. And there it is on the wall. In fact, it's marked. Look at that. Rooftop, AC only, drain pipe reamer. In other words, we don't want people trying to use this for dishes or anything. All this is a wire brush reamer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ream this tube in. Now, to do that, I don't know that I can make it so that you can see what's going on. All right, so here we go. I've got this reamer. I'll put it in there. Pull it out. I'm going to the other side. I'm going to kind of curve this a little bit. If I had some dike cutters, I'd snip that off. In fact, I think I'm just going to bend that back a little bit because I don't want that to score the inside. Oh, okay, so here's the problem. Look at that. So I did find the problem. It's
it's 100% clogged. That is just dirt and debris and dust and leaves and whatever that collects. Very normal. And that's why we have this tool, because as part of our maintenance, we will go up there and ream that out. So it's very important to understand that, because the 10 minutes it would take to just start to finish go up there and ream this out will now cost us about 2 hours of cleanup, not to mention the drywall and plaster damage around the shaft of that unit on the ceiling. So it's very important to maintenance things, not just properly, but as often as is necessary so things are working properly. So I'm going to head now to the janitor's sink, because we're not going to want to do this here. All right, here we are in the mop sink, and I'm going to do my best. Let's see what we can do here. It's not going to work. Well, you understand what needs to be done. That's got to get reamed out. Let me see if I can tap some of it out. Oh, look at that. And unfortunately, that's all it took to make that huge mess. Look at that. There's no more in here, but just as a precaution, we're going to blow this out with some water. So I'm going to put our water hose in there. Look at that. That's just dirt. That's a plug of dirt and debris. There's the solid part of it, but you can see by putting more water on it, it's really just breaking down. There's another big chunk right there. You can see how it's kind of breaking up. So, this feels solid. It's like a dirt chunk. It's pretty solid. And that's the problem. So it looks like we're about the 12-minute mark now. And so you can see the end of my bristle brush in there. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put this back on. And we're going to go back up to the roof and reinstall this. All right, here we go. Back up to the top. It's a little bit different going up this ladder one-handed, but it's possible. All right, here we are. Now you can see, based on the amount of water, or volume I should say, of air that this unit draws in to dehumidify and then cool, that's a steady stream of water coming out. And that's normal, but you can also understand that if we did not have good flow, it absolutely would back up into the shaft here. So this shaft right here, or this curb, on the bottom side of this ceiling is what you see leaking. And what's going to happen once I install this, a little bit tricky one-handed. Let's try this again. There we go. Now the reason why there's a little trap there is it's intended so that a bug, a mouse, dirt or whatever can't get back up into the unit. So that's where that little trap is like that. So you definitely want to install it properly. And as you can see, what will happen is there'll be a steady flow of water, which is appropriate. And then it will come and start draining on this side of the unit where it will just pool there and it will drain. Now is also a time to look at the filter. This filter looks in excellent condition, so I'm not going to remove it, but we're all set. We've repaired the issue. We're going to have to let the water that's already inside the curb in the building dry out and drain out. We'll fix the ceiling and go from there. So this video is about 17 minutes long. If I wasn't taking a video one-handed, easily I could have done this in under 10 minutes, start to finish. So let's make this part of our routine maintenance in the spring and fall when we change filters. And this is the rooftop unit. It used to be labeled, but it's worn away. It's RTU 4.